Hey guys, what's up? I currently have not only a cat, but also two two or three dogs around me right now. It's like a zoo in here. Um but I was thinking uh well I wasn't thinking. I was thinking. I got not not really writing advice for me, but writing advice that I've heard before, and it was saying somebody was saying on the internet that one really good way of becoming a better writer is to people watch, like, because you can only see the world from your own kind of point of view. It helps to be able to empathize with characters and get into a character's head, and it kind of helps you, like, I guess, give voice to a character, if you can see things from other people's point of view. And I have kind of sort of been trying to do this lately, except I'm kind of lazy. And it's kind of an extra step, like you have to like kind of put yourself in another person's shoes. But it seems to be easier if you can like relate to something with the other person, if you can relate to the other person in a way or two or three or a bunch. I i don't know, because I don't really have any comparison for this, but I think I'm kind of an empathetic person. I'm not bragging, I'm just saying that, like, I feel like i um I tend to not necessarily like feel other people's emotions, or like, or that I have like very active mirror neurons or anything, but like, if I see somebody get hurt or something, it kind of bothers me, and if somebody's sad, or somebody's the dogs are distracting me. um Jack was getting into something that he shouldn't be getting into. He's like a black and tan coonhound, I think, or at least that's sort of what he looks like. I'm not entirely sure what he is, but he's very sweet and he's curious about things. Sometimes things that he shouldn't be curious about. But anyway, I think that I'm sort of empathetic, and I mean, like, to the degree that, like, sometimes I'm empathetic with inanimate objects that, like, don't have feelings, I guess. But even saying that feels weird. But I think that kind of makes it easier for me to, like, kind of imagine myself in somebody else's shoes, because, to be real, I don't think that we're all that different like most people. I think that most people have something that they can, um something in common, some kind of common ground. So, like, sometimes when I get comments on videos, or sometimes when I get comments on, like, uh posts on Facebook, or sometimes when, people, like, disagree with me, like, not on the internet, but like face to face in person. I kind of try to see things from their point of view. It's kind of hard to do, especially if their take is just like wild and out there. But even that, like, to be real, I have a lot of really wild, out there kind of takes, hot takes. Um, like really a lot of my views on things are um, uncommon, I guess is a good word. Not that I'm like smarter than anybody or anything, but uh, like you live a different kind of life, you kind of see things different than people, other people who have lived other kinds of lives. Um, so I've been kind of sort of feeling like writing. I've been really into like cosmic horror and uh, stuff like that lately. It's just like there's a lot of different kind of things that you can explore with like a genre like cosmic horror. Um, and it it feels like there's a lot of room for like originality, you know. There's a lot of ideas in cosmic horror and things like cosmic horror that are really original, like really unique ideas. And one of the most interesting things about it to me, I think, is that there's kind of a lot of cosmic horror in everyday life, really. Like, I've been having this like existential dread lately. Um, like my brother died a few weeks ago, maybe a month. I don't know. I don't keep track of time very well. And lately, all my days have kind of been blurring together because my car's in the shop and I'm out of work because the machines at work are um, down for maintenance. And the guy, the boss, just texted the group chat like last night, I think, saying that it could be another 2 to 4 weeks before we get back to work. Um, so really, probably we'll probably have a whole new team because there's no way that most of the guys that I work with would be able to, be out of work for like 6 weeks, or it's already been 2 or 3 weeks. Um, I mean, I don't. I'm off grid, like I don't pay rent or anything, and I don't know if I'm going to be able. I don't know how I'm going to get through the next few weeks to be completely real. I have to get my car back somehow. But I lost my train of thought. I was talking about writing, and yeah, there's a lot of cosmic horror in real life, or at least existential horror. Um, like I had a dream last night that my mom died. I woke up this morning like wondering, like, did my mom die? Like, what? Like I had to lay there for a few minutes and kind of like let reality sink back in, like let my sleepy, dreamy self kind of go back to the background and, kind of reboot all of my like what's been going on in waking life kind of brain, if that makes any sense in English. But like really like life is really kind of horrifying in a lot of ways. And I think to a degree, a lot of people kind of feel that at one point of their life or another. I think that, I mean, like probably the reason that I have been feeling so much existential dread lately is because, uh, things have not been going well even before my brother died and stuff. I've been kind of like financially things have not been going well, and I was drinking a lot. I kind of stopped drinking lately because I, don't have a car to go to the store and I don't have any extra money. So I haven't been drinking. And I feel a lot better. Drinking kind of messes with your sleep and dehydrates you and stuff. Like, it has a lot of negative effects. Even if it feels good, if it's like a stress relief, or a stress relieving thing, it still has a lot of negative effects. Um, but like, it kind of, the genre that you're writing doesn't really matter all that much. Um, as far as people go, people are kind of the same in any genre, and a lot of people go through a lot of stuff, and they have a lot going on uh, in their minds, and even some of the more like unique stuff to them, you can probably understand some of it. You know what I mean? Because everybody's been through something, uh, probably almost like, really, a lot of people have been through something traumatic. I don't know about everybody, but probably most people, if not everyone. And we can all sort of relate to that. Like, I'm not like a psychologist or a, um, whatever the word would be for someone who studies like, um, ancestral memories or like hereditary memories or whatever, but like, you somehow, like I had a dream when I was a kid that I fell off of a cloud. Well, actually, my sister in the dream pushed me off a cloud, and I don't think I had ever fallen from like a high height before I had that dream, and somehow I knew what that felt like and felt it like vividly in the dream as I was falling from the sky. Um, and like, you kind of know what a lot of things feel like, even if you haven't experienced them like personally before. And I really think that, to a degree, like to some degree, you can kind of sort of guess at what different things would feel like to yourself, maybe not necessarily to other people, because other people have different life experiences and things. But you can kind of sort of guess at it, and it'll probably be accurate enough for most of your readers. You know what I mean? It'll probably be accurate enough for most of your readers to be able to, um, be at least a little bit immersed in what you're talking about, if if your writing is good. You know, like one thing that I've realized since I've started trying to learn how to write is that when I first started writing, I was writing like really, kind of pretentiously. Like, I was writing like I thought I was supposed to write. Um, so I would write things in a way that I guess were like kind of fancy, sort of. But then I realized, when I would go back through and like read through again and like edit and stuff, I would realize that like nobody talks like that. Nobody talks that way. And it kind of feels better reading it if the language is like more natural to me. That's what it seems like to me. I like a lot of like old pulp horror, like stuff from the early 1900s, and they don't talk like that. Like, nobody talks like that, but maybe they did back then. I don't know. I wasn't there. but nobody talks like that now. But it kind of, like, in that setting, I guess it kind of sets the scene a little bit as the story progresses. Um, so I'm kind of fine with that. I don't know if I could write like that because I don't have any experience talking like a person in the early 1900s or, you know, 1800s or 1700s or any of that. Uh, so I don't know. I mean, I would like to try to write a character from different time periods, or, different characters from different time periods. But and I could empathize with that. I don't feel like I have enough hands-on experience with that kind of language. And some linguists say that, like, the language that you speak, or the dialect, or really any of it, kind of changes the way you think. And so it would be, I don't know if it would be like challenging really to write like that, like, to what degree it would be challenging. I know that it would be a little bit challenging for me, just because I would have to um I would have to kind of look up how people talked back then. But I think to some extent I could empathize enough to, like, still kind of make it immersive. You know what I mean? I feel like I've been getting better at writing. I need to write more, and I need to get feedback somehow from someone who understands writing. But I think a lot of writers get caught up in feedback. Like, a lot of writers, my leg's falling asleep. This cat has got to get out of my lap. I think a lot of writers kind of get caught up in trying to make sure that their writing is, like, correct, quote unquote. And, like, that's important. You want your writing to be good and to, follow uh some writing conventions so that it's coherent and people can get immersed in it. But really, at the end of the day, I think that it's kind of the same with drawing. Like, I know a lot more about drawing. I have a lot more experience with drawing and, like, music than I do with writing. But I still have more experience with drawing than I do with music. But it seems like there's a lot of overlap with like visual art, music, and writing. And it feels like with with all of them, really, like, if you make what you like if you make what you want to see or read or hear, it's going to come out better, and it's going to resonate with you, the maker of the thing, and your audience probably a lot more. I know that with drawing, people get stuck on, like, studying random things. Like, I remember one of my homework assignments in high school art class was to draw a bunch of shoes, and I don't disagree with that at all. Like, that was a good idea for a homework assignment, because uh, it get like, drawing a whole bunch of different random household objects, or things in nature, rocks, or different kinds of mosses, or trees, or shrubs, or whatever, animals, if you can get a good reference photo of them, people, architecture, or whatever. That's going to help you draw everything else too, because you're learning shapes and um, textures and all of that. But I think a lot of people get caught up in that and they forget to draw the things that they really want to see, like, um, whatever it is that they like. Like, I really like monsters and pretty girls and animals, and I really like dinosaurs a lot. But it's hard to draw dinosaurs like accurately because we don't really know what a lot of them looked like, and uh, there's a lot of guesswork in paleontology, and there's no reference photos of them really. So it's kind of hard to draw them. You kind of sort of have to draw them from imagination, which a lot of artists will tell you not to do. Well, they'll tell you not to draw things from imagination as much as you can help it, because your work will be better if there is a reference that you're working from, which is true to a big extent. But I feel like even with writing, uh, it's almost like people have this idea in their head that if something is boring, it makes it more grown up or more important or something. Like, I imagine probably a lot of writers have written a bunch of drama genre stuff without really liking it, really, just because they thought that that's the kind of thing that grown-ups write about. And I think that really you and your audience would get more out of your art, if you actually liked it, even if it's kind of goofy, or even if it's kind of a less grown up thing. Um, like, there's a meme. It's something about, like, um, the worst thing about being an adult is nobody asks you what your favorite dinosaur is anymore, or something like that. And the implication, like what it's implying, it's not the point of the meme, but what it's implying is that dinosaurs are kind of a kid thing, and they're not realistically, really, because I still like dinosaurs, I still like dragons, I still like, you know swamp monsters, and swamp monsters is kind of specific, but I do. And I like, lizards, and some kinds of bugs look really cool. And I don't think it's like a childish thing, really. I think it's just my tastes in things. Everybody is going to have, well, not really, but a lot of people are going to have different tastes in things. Sometimes your tastes will align with someone else's tastes, but um, I kind of lost my train of thought. What am I talking about? Really, kind of any sort of social interaction, or even like just rambling videos on YouTube, like this one apparently, can kind of help with writing, if you can kind of sort of see things from the other person's point of view. Um, and you can make it interesting, like, it doesn't have to be boring grown up stuff, even with grown up characters. Hopefully your characters aren't boring, but it would be realistic if some of them were. I think that there's really a lot of writing advice that is kind of constrictive. People tell you that, like, every character should pull their own weight, in the story, and show not tell, and all of the like modern day writing advice. But and I mean, master the rules before you break them, but at the same time, like, it can get really constrictive. Don't constrain yourself to all of these rules that somebody that you don't even know made up, probably trying to sound smart or something. And I mean, it's kind of the same with like visual artists and animators and stuff. A big part of it is just watching the subject, like people watching, or watching animals, or watching the weather, cloud formations and stuff. Like, you draw it better if you have spent a lot of time looking at it from, I mean, like, with an artistic lens, like you're kind of studying it. And uh, it, it's it's kind of the same way with writing. um I don't know how this would apply to music or like dance, or, well, it might apply to dance. I guess in a way I could probably figure out how it applies to music, but I think it definitely applies to writing, if not even more so than it applies to art. Maybe not more so, but it's definitely relevant. I I think that that's all I have to say today. Today's video was really rambly, but I guess that's just kind of where my brain's at today. Um, if you like my videos and you want to help me grow the channel, you can like and subscribe. That helps a lot. You can watch some of my other videos. That also helps a lot. Really, any kind of interaction on YouTube is going to be somewhat helpful, unless you hit the like thumbs down button or something. Um, but I mean, I'm not going to hold it against you if you do. That's up to you. I'm not telling you what to do or anything. Y'all have a good one, and I'll see you later. Bye.